So in the first video, we focused on 1 point perspective, a single perspective. Now we're going to look and consider why this is not accurate on its own. So we have this viewpoint. What I've drawn on the cuboid on a side elevation is a set of windows and doors to make you understand that it relates to this. So if I tip this, we can see the end of the street. We can see this elevation that will probably have a pitched roof on the top of it here. So everything on this side would be receding to another vanishing point. Everything on this side, remember, is receding to a vanishing point somewhere over in the distance. And everything on this side would be receding to a vanishing point. So we're going to now look at 2 point perspective. So I've drawn a horizon line. I've taped my piece of paper to the table as I've realised that it's jumping around as I'm trying to draw. And I'm going to pop on 2 vanishing points. And I'm going to call them VP1 and VP2. Now, I don't tend to label my own vanishing points when I'm drawing myself, but for education reasons, it makes more sense for us to do so. And what we're going to do is we're going to start drawing some cubes. We are going to draw, like we saw with the isometric drawing, we're going to draw a line towards us, not a face, a line to begin with. This will make more sense to you as you're beginning to understand and work it out. This is rough work and it's about learning, so I do not want you to get too worried about these drawings. I want you just to try and understand the principle and try things out. So I've drawn a line and I've drawn it quite low down from the vanishing point. So we have a vertical line representing the edge that is closest to us. The light has dropped in my room where I'm working, so it's quite dark. So if we can brighten it up and create shadows from the ceiling, if we do that, we're not going to bother. So from the top of the line to the vanishing point 2, I'm going to draw a line to connect them. That's all I'm going to do. And at the other side, I'm going to connect this line to the other vanishing point. And I've created 2 slender scalene triangles. You take a little look at those different triangles. Now, we're going to pop in the vertical edges. So I'll use the cube to demonstrate which edges are going to pop in. We've got this one, we're going to pop in this one, I'm going to draw one. Now I can decide where I want that line, and I'm going to now pop in this line here. So we have constructed 2 faces of the cube, and now we want to pop on the top. So what we do is we take a line to the vanishing point. Now you may feel initially confused as to how to do this, but here you think, do I connect to this point or this point? You've already connected to vanishing point 2, so it's quite clear you need to connect to vanishing point 1. So now we have a cube that's got receding lines and indicates perspective. Now I'm going to just overdraw. You know, I'm not normally a fan of an overdraw, but I'm drawing so this cube stands out and it's clear which bit is the object and which are the construction lines. Now we're going to draw another cube and we're going to draw it now on the horizon line. So I'm going to pop on a vertical line. I might do it about in the middle. And I'm going to construct to the vanishing point. And this time, because it is on the horizon, these look a little bit more like isosceles triangles. So we have drawn the edge that's closest to us, and we're going to pop on these 2 lines at either side. I'll draw one about there and one about there. Now remember, these lines are parallel as they were on the previous cube. So I now want to construct the top or the bottom. Remember previously I've labelled the faces A, B and C. A, B, and oh dear, we can't see C. We can't see it because we are looking up at this side. Let's look back at the cube and see. So here we can see A and B, but we can't see C. It's out of our viewpoint. So actually we have completed this viewpoint. So I'm just drawing in, doing my overdraw to the point of you be able to see this cube floating in space. Now we're going to plot another one. I'm going to do it up in the sky this time. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to draw the edge that is closest to us. I don't think I need to show you it on the cube, because by now you've probably worked it out. A little bit smaller than the other ones, but I don't mind that. Constructing my lines to the vanishing points. Here we go. And what do you think we need to do next? Hopefully you've guessed, we're going to put in the vertical lines. Now remember, they are correct, they are parallel. And at this point I need to point to vanishing point 2. And at this point I need to point to vanishing point 1. And I now have a cube up here. And I'm going to label my faces again in a moment. So we have face A, B, C is on the top, we can't see it. D is on the bottom, we can see it. So we now have 3 drawings of different viewpoints. In each case, lines are receding to the vanishing point. So this is true. Remind you of the principle of things receding with distance. I pop 2 pencil sharpeners that are the same size in front of us, and I bring one closer to us. It appears to be bigger than the one in the distance. Now obviously the focal length means that this one's in focus, that one isn't in focus. It's refocused on it. But that's not the key point here. The key point is something in the foreground appears to be bigger. So if I wanted to draw a cube on this axis further back, another cube, as long as I follow this principle of receding to the vanishing point, I could draw it so it appears as though it's in line with the other one. Remember, at this stage, what I recommend is that you just practice drawing cubes or cuboids. So it appears that this one is in the same line as the other one. Now, if I did want to draw something onto the face of it, or turn it into a box, I'm going to just demonstrate that. So if this was a box and it had an open top, so it didn't have a face here, there would be a line suggesting that you could see into it. If I wanted to draw a window in the box, I'm just going to draw the window here that I'm suggesting. The window I'm going to draw is like the ones we've drawn previously on the terraced houses with a cross on it. So I've drawn the 2 vertical lines. Remember, verticals stay vertical. At this point in our development, we are just going to focus on verticals. And the top line here would need to point to that vanishing point. It would be helpful if I picked up the ruler to make it a little bit more accurate. I'll do the same thing here. Now in terms of the crossbar isn't running horizontal anymore, it's running to the vanishing point. So I'll work on this line where I want to start it here. So I've created a point. It's not the end of a line this time, so I had to think about that. And I'm drawing my line to the vanishing point here. So I popped a little window on that side profile. So you begin to see how you can start constructing and adding details that make sense visually and tell something of the space and form rather than contradict the 3-dimensional profile we're developing.